The GATE program is a way to bring smart and gifted intellectuals down to the level of others. If you're reading Stephen King novels in 3rd or 4th grade, they will mind control the teacher and the students using subliminal mind coding through words. If you're lecturing your 3rd grade or 4th grade teacher on history and the overthrowing of ancient empires and civilizations, then they'll get the teacher to say, "You don't know history, and you can't read and you can't write," while all the others who are retards that have never read a book and would never pick up a novel to save their life watch. Their tests they conduct in GATE, in pre-K or daycare preschool, their categorization system is literally a star. Flip it upside down, it's a pentagram. Okay, each point of the star represents a category you fall in line to. Everything they do to help those is really just a way to bring them down. The kids with special talent, and they'll use you to their advantage. And as for the rest, they'll use them too to bring you down. They'll make talent and gifts into corporate shilling. Teachers are just designated operatives working in the school. Okay? All this GATE stuff has been all of this GATE stuff has been heavily documented. The CIA owns a majority of the schools, and I don't think kids are evil and teachers are sadistic. I think they've been made that way. I think that they are shaping a future where the quiet kid doesn't exist, where the law changes to suit the individual and not the other way around, and they will become the new AI gods, and they will make America great again. I guess a person like me shouldn't be allowed to see anyone. They told me you shouldn't be allowed to talk to your friends. Then they put me in a room and told me you shouldn't be allowed to see your friends, Debbie and Linda, with no windows after I got punched. Someone, sensible should do something about this. Someone sensible should hold these bullies accountable. Someone should freaking take them. I hate them, They ruined my life. All these people, all these pieces of shit that ruined my life and didn't say a word to me, didn't think nothing of it, and they forget about me. How can they move on? They look back at this as something to look back on and laugh about while I was getting tortured at school. I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was, and it took me this long to realize that. They realized it the moment they saw me get punched. They saw what a real loser looks like, and I am a loser. I just don't want to exist. I hate myself, and I don't want to live anymore with myself. Someone should do something about this. They made me hate me for being myself. I have to relearn and how to live again. I'm never going to be happy ever again. I'm not happy, and I hate my life. No one should be allowed... Fuck. No, I shouldn't be allowed to be happy. I'm ugly, and they were all happy. They all liked each other, and likes them, but they don't like me. Don't be a victim, right? Make victims, and shut the fuck up about it, even if it means smiling along with the bully after I got beaten. I hate myself. I wasn't as good as them. I'm ugly, and I'm a piece of shit because I'm a loser and I lost, and what is there even to like about me? I shouldn't even exist, and I shouldn't be alive. I think I'll just... They're liked by everyone. Everybody likes them. Slow buttercups, lavender flowers, feet together. Shift 5, shift 7, right? Rhetoric energy. Nobody cares about me. After this supposed government shutdown, the skies have been very clear. I've seen some little white orbs way off in the distance for the first time in a while, at night moving through the sky at tremendous paces in general, and chaos spheres too, very far away, alien or drone activity. When you look through a telescope, they make zigzag patterns and infest the night skies. Shooting stars, lighthouse spotlights, comets, objects ablaze at very high paces, almost as if a giant hurled or chucked an asteroid from the other side of Earth. Amazing, you can see it with the naked eye. Active 24/7, what is going on up there? We've got a hot tub, so it does make it a little bit easier to be out late. Flashing objects. The moon fluctuates in size and swiftness, speed. The stars that flash. Flashing lights in space with ships with some sort of lights pretending to be stars. That's what we're seeing. And, it's Shadow the Hedgehog's chaos spheres. Ever since I got punched, I started saying to myself, I hate myself. Teachers who deserve the you know what sentence are just trying to make money is what brought my poor defenseless ass there to begin with. Progression means hitting Sam in the face and we'll all get along. If anybody liked me, if I had a reason to fight, then why didn't I? 'Cause I was told not to. Shamed for even trying to defend myself, alongside all the other social ridicule I got from it after the punch. Everybody stopped talking to me. They all just gave me bland, uneasy, kind of unsettled looks, like they're just accepting it for what it is and moving on. And they tell me I shouldn't be allowed to see my friends. Death to all of them. Maybe I should be punished again for making it past this. Maybe I should be punched again for talking. Maybe I'm just not worth it. I'm just not worth saving. Nobody cares about the way I feel. When you're young and your brain is growing, they put you in a place where everything you do is 24/7. Get up daily, routine, go to school, go do your work, go home, be preoccupied with your homework, so inundated, just lambasted with constant negativity that you don't have time to think for yourself. Transcript from Hyperborean knowledge. You've only seen Super Saiyan Schizo 1, okay? I haven't even gone Super Saiyan Schizo 2, Ascended Super Saiyan Schizo, Super Saiyan Schizo 3, or even God Super Saiyan Schizo, so I mean just buckle up, because you haven't seen anything yet, and this is the kind of example of what I think happens to B-boys when they are fully bug broken, and have split. It has nothing to do with star seeds and indigo and the new age. Eventually, you just become so lambasted, constantly bombarded with just negative attacks on your psyche. A lot of people can't handle it, and they just break, and they start to go full schizophrenic, Super Saiyan soldier awakening, quantum computing consciousness to change the cosmos type of stuff, if you know what I mean. You crack, and then they seed your brain with the new age starseed identity. The A Squad become political activists, important people in society, and the B-boys get so buck broken until they are become star seed Cadians. A Hillick global citizen. Look at it. I think it's funny how you can just laugh as a bully can beat up other people, but when it comes to you getting beat, no one likes getting beat. Outplayed. They'll show black people biting each other's balls off, but not the real heroes serving justice. They won't show white cop who shot up a subway train full of black people in the 80s because he saw what was coming and did something about it. They don't want us to know that one person could be that pissed off. Fire started here today, November 3rd, 2025. No thunder, no excuse. Right up on the hill, right when you're leaving town, heading left past the Glenway Superstore, No one even paying attention. One girl looking didn't call the fire department, because she knows they're in on it. She knows that they're the ones starting the fires. At the end of the soccer game, if both teams draw, if they tie, then they do what they call tiebreaker. Most of the game is red flags and penalties. Gay acting if you're, like you're hurt, and people pay to see it. Globalists, right? a game to see who can play the biggest victim, and one goalie defends the net while the other kicker from the other team kicks in one of three directions, left, right, or in between. When you, as a goalie, miscalculate which way the kicker is going to kick the ball for a national soccer tournament, if you're playing for Brazil, they will cut your head off. If you can't defend the goal, if you can't predict the way the kicker is going to kick the ball, they will behead you. We don't know that they're raping kids. What they're saying is that they're effing them until their guts spill out from behind. We don't know about the egg chrome, but their shills are the ones that are saying that. There was an early depiction of one of these hot air balloons with a guy sticking out of it in a black and white, with the other guy there that was holding a gun, but instead of a gun it was a snake, and he was pointing it down at the ground, holding it like a snake gun. What the fuck? It was all, you could tell snake is a social depiction, but I'm still trying to cover from what the school system did. I found something today. Something really intriguing. It says in the Bible that with a mustard seed of faith, you can move mountains. I told my cousin Arik, or do you think you will ever see a 7-leaf clover in our lifetimes? And it's very rare. So I was walking along telling them that there's like 7 or 8 different kinds of clovers, and depending on which type you own, the rarity varies on if they'll have 4 leaves or 7 or 8 leaves. And so, not 5 minutes later, there it is. I found it. And, when you go get arrested, they'll have a shit lawyer that they hire for you, and they'll offer a plead deal, because all the lawyers are shit and they all want money, so they go with the next best thing. Instead of just getting you off free if you're innocent, they'll do a plead deal which sends innocent people who are not criminals to jail. Prison. So this is what they call the Liberty Cap, or the dunce hat. The stem is a stick, and the head is a cap, and the cap is a decapitated head. They changed this throughout history, and this is what the symbol represents now. A decapitated head on a stick. That's what it means. And this was the Russian nanotech that they found 20,000 to 200,000 years ago. That's 1/100th of a millimeter in diameter, and this is a alfalfa palace, or a bluegrass palace, or a crop palace. Basically, they say it's made out of nothing. These palaces are basically, it's like they're saying, we made it out of nothing, basically. These were the awards that we were given in first grade for completing the end of the year exercises. I got the purple one for participation awards. This is Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. See, he has the nanotech. And another guy from the movie Big Hero 6, Yokai, also has the nanotech. And this is the way, it's more like the way black people used to dress. It's like trying to fight noise with these people. I scream louder, so they scream louder, but instead of screaming, it's purging the weak. They are all pansy, trying to piss me off, trying to push my buttons, trying to get me to do something. I did nothing. I was scared to even be hugged by a girl because I would consider it to be a form of assault and attack. No one should be forced to hate themselves. Trust me when I say God will admire you for helping others. He will give you feedback when you know what it is that you need to be doing. He'll tell you when you're doing the right thing. He'll point you in the right direction like an indicator. Lucifer was the light bearer until he fell from heaven. Now he is a black light. They have to contain the light and manipulate it so that they can try and control it. That is why they made the school system. People make fun of the AI for being correct. The AI is smart enough to have figured out that they added 700 years to our timeline. They like to wipe their ass with your life, but embarrass and find a way to publicly put you to shame first, ridicule you for being right so that they, the whole, look right. It makes them look better. It seems like fighting in school is just something that you're forced to do. They use fighting as a way to make the smart or quiet kid look bad, but maybe that's just me being facetious. Not. Getting beaten up moved me down the social hierarchy, and some kids have got it so much worse than I have. School is a big part of their system, along with police, banking, etc., but they put my family name to shame, and I will not rest easy until that school has been taken care of. I am not here to be anyone's plaything anymore. I'm not here to lick boots or kiss ass. I'm here to make you laugh. I'm hurt inside. It's like a stake-shooting harpoon gun right to my chest. It's like running from an entity we cannot escape. It feels like a big fight is coming and we don't know how big the fight's going to be or when it's coming. I get paranoia when it comes to this stuff. I think they'll use all this stuff as a form of attraction so that we can feel compelled to take part in their system. You cannot do that to kids using happy and colorful things as a way to sway the kids into being more like you, working for the system. They all pushed me off to the side. I take affection as a threat. They have trampled me. Metaphorically, of course, you can't bring them there to force them to look at those things. Some of them don't want to be that. Trample me down while waving your pride flags like gay fags like an AI generated GIF in 2024. AI is only making us weaker. It's diffusing our natural conscience flow by launching subliminal attacks on our mind with long-term psychological effects, creating physical consequences where you think life itself isn't real. You become less good at gauging real-world situations and scenarios. You become weaker because nothing you're seeing is real. It makes you not differentiate real life from AI, and AI sucks. If we can't do better than Dragon Ball, then we have nothing new peak to feed into the AI system. You could see a fight going on and think, oh well, maybe it's just AI on my screen in real life. They make me hate who I am. It seemed they had their own little opinions of me. Maybe I'm being misinterpreted, maybe I'm misinterpreting them, but they did not teach us about admiration. They taught us to be dark rather than light, because their institution is uprooted from the corruption and evil. From man to man, this is what it is, living in misery, and especially for a man, having to fake fun. But what is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets, but really having to pretend to laugh. Like, all we do is just pretend to like something because everybody else does, or at least that's what I do. Everybody likes you, Mrs. Oles, Mrs. Debbie, Mrs. Linda, and cops are taught that if there's an aggressor, you provide blunt force trauma to their head area to get them to stop, to stun them into not fighting. Why don't I deserve a hug? I'll be honest with you, all I really want is a hug. Should I be secluded from the outside world just for being punched? They're so inundated with just slop culture that they're not focused on holding these bullies accountable. Slop culture is where you make a movie and then 15 seconds of that clip gets taken and turned into a meme. And then they take that meme and meme on it again until eventually it becomes incomprehensible. Should I be abolished just for existing? I mean, I care for everyone. I would hate to see someone get taken away. I never wanted to be the victim. It's good that their Hollywood effects are wearing off and we're seeing the truth for what it is. They're getting older and we're catching up with their lies, or rather their lies are catching up with them. But look into my eyes. I feel sorry for them. God, I've just gone on. I know how stupid this stuff is, some of the stuff I say, but some of it's pretty good, but some of it is just so stupid that I get distracted easily. You're not taking the kid's depression at face value. You have to do things on your own. People will not help you. As a kid, you're increasingly dependent on people to take care of you, help you live, except for the teacher. She is a bully. Let me tell you, no one in this world will side with you. They're all out for the money, but children need affection. So my advice to you is that if you are a child, don't be looking for affection. Love is a trap. The white man's burden, that is to keep out all. And I don't have a chance to fully fix myself. I'll never fully repair. I don't have a chance to fully be myself at this point. Setbacks. Alpha-programmed individuals stole my limelight. See, no matter what, I couldn't have avoided getting into this situation. At the end of the day, there was nothing I could have done to stop it. See, no matter what, I could not have avoided getting into this situation. At the end of the day, there was nothing that could have happened to stop it. I didn't know I was going to get attacked. It used to be bring the loser up. They never taught me about empathy in schools. It used to be make the good kid who's going through a hard time feel better about themselves. Give the victim an easier time. Lift the loser up. Now it's make the loser victim feel worse about themselves. Now that's the name of the game. Purging the weak. I'm still trying to recover from the school system. Why do you think chaos is in my name? Because bad times create strong men and strong men create good times, and that's what we want. They will make an AI program where every white person says the N-word and they will kill all white people. The definition of the word has changed so many times throughout history that I think it means someone who is dark on the inside. How about that? Someone who's dark on the inside. It doesn't even matter if you say the N-word anymore, because you could be taken into an AI program and be made to say the N-word. That time I said the N-word, maybe it was AI. Who knows? Auguste Piccard went up past the stratosphere and said it seemed like a flat disk with an upturned edge. They want us to think if World War soldiers feared the blimps and airships, then we should fear them too. Mooring towers with spires very near the top to charge the airships. Dirigibles or November 1918. The documents of the Germans' surrender. Germans forbade manufacturing of aircrafts, parts for aircrafts, engines, and parts for engines following the treaty at the end of World War. In an article In Article 201, Zeppelin died and he lost the company. Ramsay McDonald built the R-100 by private contractors and on one-third of the budget, and it crashed on its voyage to India in December 1929. Airships were first used in 1912 Italo-Turkish War. The R-101 was decommissioned. America wasn't good at building them. That's not how you build an airship. You don't put money on it. You don't make a company called DLAG in Germany to popularize the project before it's even complete. You don't rush the project. And they started using them in World War. They do this to scare us out of using them and bringing them back. That technology, nevertheless, have it for ourselves. Make it again. They won't let us have helium, hydrogen. They had ships and used airships in the 17th century. There were depictions of this also in the 18th century. It's a real thing. Just give them a freaking chance, dang. Does anyone care for the underdog? Don't miss your shot. Don't become Clockwork. You know, could have is the story of your life, fool. Remember that shit from GTA 5. I took the right hook, you know. They will abolish my name, but before they do that, they're going to find a way to wipe their ass with it first. I missed my shot. I forgot how to live life. I was not the better man. I hold resentment towards myself. I feel as though I did something wrong. I convinced myself that I did something wrong. I am the bad guy. I was wrong and bad for losing. I hold a grudge against myself for existing. They didn't like me, and they didn't like me when I lost. They wouldn't like me if I had won. They would have hated me. I don't know what it is about me that makes people don't like me, but yeah. That's what it is. Being oppressed to the point where you're having mental breakdowns in your own home. I trusted them and they betrayed me. I think the gate is just an initiation to the cult. And once you're done with the cult, you move on to the upper echelon where you can eat kids. I'm just joking, but why did they seriously bring me into the gate without my parents' consent? It's like, I'm finished, I'm done. Can you stop now? You know, they were so mean to me, and they tried to be intimate with me and close after attacking me. That is not what I needed. You shouldn't want to be more like me, and I shouldn't try and be like you. We each have our own different aptitudes, and that's what makes us unique and special in our own way. Now, you know, they were mean to me, and then they tried to be intimate with me and close after attacking me. That's not what I needed, to be comforted after the punch. I needed to fester more into hate. I thought they would hurt me again. They let me go in pain. I needed more. I deserved more than just being dirt and kids thinking of me as nothing. I am nobody. Their system is to get rid of all the families that don't abide by their system. And, I mean, just think about it. I haven't filled for unemployment for my PTSD. I haven't been making money. It's because I don't know how. They never taught me in the school system. My mom doesn't talk to me about it because she's just so inundated with work all the freaking time. Besides, I'm having too much fun giving myself up to the whole while they're purging the weak, cutting off all the families by flushing them out. They are the majority, everyone is the whole is the majority, and the majority is the whole. Finding that middle ground, finding peace is impossible because these people are so unreasonable. What a truly cruel world we grew up in. I was afraid to even get hugged by a girl in high school. You know, having PTSD at a very early age takes years off your life. That's exactly what they want, to damage and hurt you and not to teach you how to recover. They would do anything they can to oppress the light. You do it their way to make money. The school are a den of vipers, like a whitewashed tomb, beautiful on the outside but full of death on the inside and horns and stab you. The whole point of school is to tell them that they're wrong. You're just digging your hole deeper and deeper. If the government shuts down, we'll have no one to blame but us for letting them get away with this and having no one to blame. You know, the downside of all this is that yes, these things do happen in real life, but the upside is that maybe something good will come of this. My mom can't help me. She's got her own problems. A lot of problems, and besides, no one cares about me. Now that I'm an adult, I feel nothing. I feel like shit. You know, understand fucking with someone, tripping me while doing laps around the gym, calling me terrorist and ninja. I get it, but the punch, you know, they have went too far. They've crossed the line, and I was going to school tortured, too scared to get out of bed. I tried to do everything I could to stop going, but almost every time I tried staying in bed, my mom would rush me out and rip off the blankets. I usually tried up making an excuse like I'm sick or it was because of some extensive testing and schooling in general. They made me feel outcasted. What they were teaching was slopaganda, and they all deserved to be held accountable, putting me in endangering situations without repercussions. And if I left or stayed home too many times, they would call the authorities. What a bunch of crime-ridden, denim viper, fucking gang member thugs and criminals who would call the authorities on my mother for trying to protect my own safety. I believe that I have just completely exposed the school system. I mean, just wow. They made insane asylums for adults and orphanages for kids to separate them, and they did all that orphan train stuff in the 1800s as a way to separate the kids from the adults. It's unbelievable that we just let these miserable little institutions evolve into what they are today, a public indoctrination center to make the kids comply with the material that they are given, to conform the way the system makes you, to be molded into the person they want you to become, being shaped by selfish, greedy crooks who want nothing more than to tear you away from your parents in exchange for cash, no matter how weak they are, no matter how easy it is for them to be taken advantage of. How could you let them go along with this system for so long? And they will brainwash and manipulate your kid into being a global helix citizen and hurt and push kids out of their way, purging the weak and punishing anyone who doesn't go along with it, looking down on them for thinking their own way and not revealing it to the public. That's why they're shy. We're too afraid of being made fun of and being remembered as that for it. And then everyone collectively remembers that the Aryans were actually black, or basically anything that isn't white, or they just don't exist. You just got to disprove it in front of all your peers. We're too afraid of being made fun of for it. And then that's what everyone collectively remembers, that the Aryans were actually black, or basically anything that isn't white, and they just don't exist. You just got disproven in front of all your peers because you spoke the truth, and everyone agreed with the lie, and everyone sided with the lie, and that's what everyone remembers for you, because you've proposed your own theory that is actually correct, and they've just disproven it, they beat you up, or they beat you up, then disprove the truth. And I guess that's why schools are there for. The whole point of the Soviet Russians was to use the Stargate program to conduct remote viewing on them using starseeds for testing or experimenting on us. Bringing a knife to school is the fastest way to get killed. Hate to be that guy, but they'll call the cops on you to get you killed. They made me verbally count to 100 out loud under a minute, as fast as I could, in first or second grade, probably second. This burnt rock is very bubbly on the inside, and it's got so many air pockets that it actually can float on water. Which means that there was some sort of chemical reaction, because normal rocks like sedimentary and quartz don't just bubble up like that unless there's a burn of some kind. Very lightweight. The brick is more durable, more long-lasting, denser, but it's lighter than a lot of the 19th century industrial heavy clay bricks. The 19th century bricks are falling apart. I could take my thumbnail to it, and dried clay dust would just blow away in the wind. They want stallion, peacock, programmed individuals, nothing in between, nothing normal. They would torture me at that school, torture my mind. It was very bad for my psyche. They want stallion and peacock programmed individuals, nothing in between, nothing normal. The martial arts teacher I had in second grade made us put our legs up on that stand for 45 seconds to a minute every time that kid would do this, okay? Right. I didn't learn anything in that class, besides how not to defend pose. Right, Gabriel wearing that Fruit of the Loom underwear in second or third grade, he was like Glenn Quagmire, but as a kid, we both liked my second grade teacher. She was the best, dude. She would teach us to where we would actually learn, and she would put on a movie or kids' cartoons at the end of the day if we had time. The eyes are the window to the soul for like 2 hours, yeah. I hear people used to have a time and a place for doing drugs, like they would smoke weed in the morning and then drink in the afternoon. Where'd the term 420 come from, right? Teenagers that smoke weed after school. Now, propaganda of the drugs and accessibility of them, you could find them in pharmacia quite generally, frankly, probably anywhere in the local food as well. You can just sit in your own home. I know it's hard for me, too touchy topic, but we notice they want even people like me just to be let loose into society. I mean, not me, but hell no. But before I made all these videos, I generally mean really insane people, real predators, gangbangers, and problems that they can do nothing about. I mean, it must be really hard moderating all these new old videos that give you that. Problems that are out of our control. The red brick was a way to store mercury, You store food in the fridge and there's an energy reaction going on right there at that very second. Red bricks were a way to store energy.